Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting, home of the RSR Cup Series, where tonight we are at the Iowa Speedway for race number 2 of the round of 16. Last week at Chicagoland, we had Hunter Hayward in the 48 lock himself in as one of the 16 playoff contenders for the round 2 to go into that round of 12. So congrats to him last week. But this week, who will lock themselves in or who will spoil the day for him? We'll have to see, but thank you everybody for tuning in. Let's give a special shout out to all the sponsors here at the Evolution Racing League and Freaky Fast Broadcasting. First up, we have Orr Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. You can go check them out at www.orrnissancentral.com. Next, we have Sheffield Graphics, the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was founded by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Folds of Honor. It's a great nonprofit organization who gives sponsorship to the families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to go check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics and tell them that Freaky Fast sent you. Next, we have ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to ButtKicker.com and you can check out their Gamer 2 or their long list of other products. And you can also use Freaky Fast 20 as a promo code to get 20% off there. Remember, that's Freaky Fast 20, and that is Freaky with 2 E's. So go check out ButtKicker and use that promo code to let them know that we sent you there. But thank you to all the partners here at the Evolution Racing League and Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Let's get into the racing action here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth. Alongside me calling the action will be Brandon Colley, and we'll have Robert Moyer Jr. running the cameras up in the production booth. Brandon, what a special night here. Last week we had Hunter Hayward win at Chicagoland. Which driver can lock themselves in, or do we see a spoiler? It's going to be a wild one here at Iowa.
A lot of guys looking to spoil, quite a few guys outside the playoff picture here. They've got nothing to race for except for wins. Though I say nothing to race for, there is that prize for the highest point paying driver outside of the playoff 16 currently. Anthony Yunez is leading that charge there with 31 points. Have to double check. 31 points, I believe, over Casey Kuntz for that there. And man, it's tonight again. Just guys trying to get a good points day before we go into Daytona next week. I mean, Ryan Bean sitting third on the board right now. He is the first driver outside looking in 13th position. He is 8 points behind Dustin Stallings for that 12th and final spot going into the round of 12. Looking to have a really good day. Same with James Catrone, had a disastrous race in Chicago, getting caught up in a bunch of wrecks. Found himself outside of the cutoff there for the round of 12. And guys, Dustin Stallings, Harold Watkins, Andrew Little, just above, I believe, all the way up to about Matthew Rush. Only about 13 points or so to Trevor Massetti, and a little bit more up to Matthew Rush in 7th place. So these guys need to gain a lot of points here to give themselves some breathing room going into Daytona next week. If you get a win, that's even better, because you're winning your in, you'll be in the same shoes as Hunter Hayward sitting on Easy Street.
Yeah, it also has got to be scary to have Ryan Bean on the outside looking in there in that 13th position, because he could definitely pull off one at Daytona. We've seen him be very good at the restrict play tracks. So him sitting on the outside looking in could be scary. But I tell you what, that's a big difference from 39 back for Dustin Stallings to GT to where Ryan Bean's 53 back. So that cut line, below that cut line, there is a sizable margin down below to those final 4 drivers.
Yeah, they desperately need a lot of points, and it's really just a lot of guys that found themselves in early trouble at Chicagoland last week. Missed out on a handful of stage points, and then points for a bad finishing position at the end of the race on top of it. So giving up a lot of potential points that could be finding them into the top 12 here. And I know it's really good to see Ryan Bean sitting up 3rd place on the board, at least for practice anyway, considering where he's sitting at in the playoff picture, that first car outside looking in. But you got Trevor Massetti in 4th place, Travis Everett as well. He's 3rd points, only 1 point back from GT, who's leading the points right now. with 3,077 over teammates, Travis Everett and Curtis Preston. But between the three of them, it's only a 4-point difference. So the top of the standings here pretty close going into the second race of the round of 16.
Yeah, personally, with how big a gap they have there, Brandon, I really feel like they have a good shot here in the, this race possibly to get those stage points. If they can get 15 minimum stage points for each of those drivers, they can really be in a considerably a good spot, personally, because of how big a gap they've built down to that 12th spot. And they could come out of here feeling very confident going into Daytona.
And that's the name of the game. That's what you've got to play right now, especially, GT, as long as he finishes well. I mean, GT, Travis, and Curtis, as long as they finish well tonight, they don't need to win. You'd love to win, but they don't need to. If they can just bank some points, that takes off a tremendous amount of pressure, because not only do you have to feel like if you're in, one of these cutoff spots where it's pretty close, you've got to go into Daytona and you've got to push pretty hard for the stages to get stage points there and put yourself in that mix and potentially wind up in the big one and miss out on a bunch of points altogether, especially if it's early in the race. GT, Travis, and Curtis, if they have a good night tonight with solid stage points, solid finish at the end of the race, they can just ride around in the back the entire race and give up all those stage points knowing it's not going to affect them. As long as they finish the race and don't get taken out early, they're going to be moving on.
Well, that's also, now as we move into qualifying, Brandon, I think this race has a definitely interesting strategy to play out. We're looking at stage here at lap 40, our second stage at lap 80, and then we'll have a final 70-lap run to the end. So with a 60% fuel load, no problem getting, to that 40 mark. That's going to be no issue. Not going to be able to do 2 stages under 1 tank for sure. Not going to be able to do 80. But one stage should be very easily done with a 6% load at 40 laps. But I'm looking at the tires. We got 4 sets of tires in these pits. We know we see the strategy. Hunter Hayward played it last week. Didn't take the tires on that first stage, while some of the other playoff drivers, like GT from Slide Job Racing, those drivers elected to take the tires where they took the stage points. I think tonight it's a no-brainer to take tires. You can take a set there at lap 40, a set at lap 80. You're going to have 2 sets still in your back pocket for 70 laps. Very little laps there. I mean, that's a 1 stop to the end. Can't make it all the way, but that gives you an extra set of tires in your back pocket almost if you did that strategy before. So I think tonight it's pretty clear-cut with the strategy. We still may see some drivers try to elect to have 3 sets going into that final set segment.
Well, I think there is such a thing as too much tire, because you're only going to have 70 laps for the final stage of this race. You're not going to have a lot of time to use those tires, especially, you're going to have the extra set. You've only got to have to make 3 pit stops here, 2 for the stage, 1 at the very last stint of this race for the 70 laps. That extra set should be good enough to have in your back pocket. If you have 2, I think you're just going to be putting yourself too far back in the field too many times to try to make use of both sets. You don't really want to put yourself in a position where you're leaving any extra sets in the pits, because that's just wasted speed on the track that you could be taking advantage of. But some guys might elect to do that. We saw it last week where guys decided to not try to save a set. And contrary to the theme, really, of the whole regular season, guys, on that strategy where they wouldn't take them the first set, and it kind of bit the first stage, and it kind of bit them, because Hunter Hayward played that strategy, really beat the rest of the field at their own game to play that strategy when nobody else did, and came away winning because of it.
Yeah, it was a big risk by him getting really no stage points too. So he took a huge risk. But the way GT and them, played it last week, I feel like they built the points the right way. It's definitely 2 different ways to take it. Hayward, it had to play out for a caution to play for him, so he definitely got luck on his side there. But at the moment, the qualifying times are starting to trickle in. And I tell you what, Travis Everett looking very quick there with a 23.183. And that's faster than his teammate GT Irizarry, who was quickest in practice, faster than Hayward, who was second fastest in practice. I mean, a lot of guys in practice there not backing up their times.
And I think that has to do with the fact that the track's changing since the start of the practice session when it went up. A lot of these guys coming out immediately into the session, able to put down a pretty quick time with a fresh track. And now it's rubbered up a little bit. It's going to be cooler too. The balance of the cars are changing, and they're having a harder time with it. Not able to turn and adjust to that, to turn quicker times or even match the time that they set down. in practice. So we're going to have to see some driver adjustments, guys getting used to the new feel of the track. And right now, notice that Curtis Preston having a bit of internet issues before qualifying here. Yet to turn a lap. I believe he's out on his first lap now. And I don't see him on the board. Where did he go?
He is on a lap right now.
He did reconnect, so hopefully that those issues are stabilized for Curtis, because he definitely can't afford to have internet issues here. He's got those points in the bank, but with the stage racing, if you can't even make the race, you are giving up a ton of points.
That you are, and with the size of the fields here in the RSR Cup Series also, I mean, we're looking at around 28 cars here tonight, so you can lose lots of points by having a bad night. First lap in the books for him, 21st fastest. We'll see if that second lap puts anything. He was somewhat behind the rest of the guys he normally runs with in practice, so maybe struggling a little bit for this 29 here tonight. We'll see what the second lap produces. Usually this second lap, sometimes with these tires, can produce the better lap. We'll see what it is this time of by 21.198. Look at that. I talked about him struggling in practice. He says, Mr. Commentator Zach, you need to do your research, because I put myself second on the board.
Yeah, I was worried there for a brief second that he was going to have a pretty bad qualifying effort. They're able to squeak in a pretty good lap, put himself P2 on the board right as qualifying coming to a close here.
And he got it in perfect timing. I mean, that could have went south for him there, but got the time in for Curtis Preston, as that brings it in to qualifying here. As Travis Everett is your Sheffield Graphics pole setter, as we'll go ahead and bring up our qualifying results here tonight for the Iowa 150. First place is going to go to Travis Everett. Second is going to be teammate Curtis Preston. Third is going to be James Catrone. Fourth is going to be the third Slide Job Racing car. Fifth of GT, sorry. Fifth is going to be Andrew Little. Sixth is going to be Hunter Hayward. Seventh is going to be Trevor Massetti. Eighth, Matthew Rush. Ninth, Stephen Baldwin. And running out the top 10 is Craig Burns.
Bob Fitzpatrick in the 3 is going to be starting 11th. Ryan Bean, 12th. Casey Kuntz, 13th position. Zach Schrittenthal, 14th. Kevin Savladell, 15th. David Hall, 16th position. Nathan Campbell in the 52, 17th. Brock Potter, 18th. Harold Watkins, 19th. And Nolan Potter running at your top 20.
21st is going to be Dustin Stallings. 22nd, Chad Biesinger. 23rd is going to be Tony Ludy. 24th, Kevin Ruff. 25th is going to be Michael Martino. 26th is Anthony Yunez leading that 17th position. 27th is Kevin Dowd. And running at your field is Marc-Andre Thibodeau in 28th. And that is your starting lineup here for the RSR Cup Series tonight. But let's go ahead and pull up our Sheffield Graphics pole setter of Travis Everett from Slide Job Racing. What a lap from him here to put himself on pole and start his number 59 up front. Here is Travis Everett.
Hey, Travis, Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. We got you.
Well, Travis, congratulations on getting the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here at Iowa, man. A really fast lap. You Slide Job guys didn't get the 1, 2, 3, but 1, 2, 4 pretty good all the same. Man, I got to ask you first. I saw you slipping and sliding a little bit during practice. What's the balance of these cars like out here tonight?
First few laps, I think it's going to be pretty slick. The guys going to stay on the toes, be easy on the gas, getting off the corners, and watch out for the bumps down there in 1 and 2. They can really throw you. I think that's going to be key.
Well, talking about the bumps, it was something we talked about in the ARCA broadcast. Exactly how bad are those bumps down there in 1 and 2 really upsetting the car if you just cannot figure out how to hit them just the right way or avoid them altogether?
It can throw your whole corner off and mess your whole lap up because you lose the momentum going down the back stretch. You can get freight train there. Yeah, you can navigate around them, but you got to be spot on with it. And I missed that in qualifying myself. I was surprised the lap held there.
Well, I think we're going to get a second lap here. Yes, we do. And leads me to my next question. Daytona next week, you guys are sitting in a pretty good spot points-wise. You 3 teammates sitting there at the top. What's the game plan for you guys tonight? Are you going to be aggressive, try to get the win to make sure there's no pressure at all for Daytona? Or are you going to try to maximize your points and rely on that cushion that if you have a bad race, you're still going to make it in?
Perfect situation. We can do both. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm going out here to win tonight. I feel like we got a pretty good cushion. So see what we can come away with.
All right, Travis, let you get back down there, get ready to start this thing. Wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you can keep that thing up front, and we'll be talking to you before too long.
Appreciate it. Hope y'all enjoy it.
All right, that was your Sheffield Graphics pulsator there, Travis Everett. Heard from him live from Slide Job Racing here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting as he get ready to bring it down to start tonight's 150 laps here at the Iowa Speedway. Race number 2 of the 2021 playoffs. And here we go. Pace cars in. Everett's on it. Green flag is out. We're off and away. The Slide Job Racing teammates race down to 1. But Catrone needing a win somewhat to pull himself through the next round. He's starting up here in the front, battling for second early in the going.
Yeah, Catrone not in a must-win situation just yet, but after last week definitely needs a good points night for sure to kind of set the stage for what he's going to have to do at Daytona next week. And can't ask for much more right now. Qualifying third, running second now. Breaking up that slide job party at the front of the field, trying to chase down our leader, Travis Everett.
Travis Everett trying to stretch that gap out. At the moment, Hunter Hayward able to get past GT Rosari. He drops to the bottom now. He slides up to the inside of Curtis Preston off of 4. Can he move forward? He slides back up into that top lane as they go down to 1.
Oh! And Matthew Rush almost into the back of the 14 at GT, able to slam the door. I think he may have got some help getting pushed into the corner there. Have to go back and look at it because there's a significant amount of damage on the back of the 11.
As we watch this battle going on here, riding on both Andrew Little in the 68. Had a good run at Chicago lane last week. Right now is in the good to make it to the next round, but does need a good race here tonight. Could fall out of that cut line if anything goes wrong.
Well, just a quick update, talked about the issues with Matthew Rush. Got a little help into the corner from Craig Burns, resulting in that damage there, but everybody kept it clean and not really losing any positions off of it as this battle continues to go on around them. These guys racing really hard at the front, trying to find a good lane to run in, figure out where they can find the speed.
Drivers looking for anything they can here at the moment, guys. As you can see with Little, he's searching up top. As you see, Larson, all different types of lane here. These Cup cars definitely putting on a good show here early in the going. 6 laps in is, man, the battle is just going really tough. Look at this, almost 3 wide here.
And Curtis Preston not really cutting Hunter Hayward any slack through 3 and 4 last time, really up against the door there. Tried to shoot it 3 wide going down into 1, not quite going to make that work. James Catrone really sticking with it up here with these guys holding on to third place now. Hunter Hayward goes around for second. Here comes Curtis again with a big run out of 4, trying to make the move again into 1. Almost makes contact with Catrone.
Very close to that 38 left rear, and you can see it's almost, you know, those 2 cars, I kind of get them mixed up just with the way both having black cars there, yellow banners, and you know, a logo on the front of the hood like that with similar color. It definitely catches me off guard a few times. But yeah, Catrone there in the 3rd spot. Irizarry now in 4th as Preston drops back to 5th. As Hayward, he's looking a little racy here as he tries up through the field from that 6th position. He's already won Chicago win. We'll see if he can go out here and not let anybody lock themselves in.
Well, that's the best thing that he can do. I mean, he's not really racing for points. He's just trying to play the spoiler role here and get some wins if he can. Just add to that win column for the season and make sure nobody else is able to secure their spot. Everybody's going to have to worry about points for the most part going into Daytona next week, and that's got to be his biggest point. Oh, no! Catrone almost gets up into him out of the corner, washed up just a little bit. Managed to avoid that. GT almost running over the back of him as well. That was really close.
Yeah, that was too close for comfort for, I think, a few guys there in the playoffs there saying. And Catrone, he needs to run. He needs to get a win, needs as many stage points as possible. So he has to fight tooth and nail here if he wants to get back in that cut line. It's going to take 2 great races for that 38 as he's right now in that 16th position.
Looking at the top 10 here, the battle for that 10th position. Ryan Bean able to move up to 10th. Needs those playoff points, needs to hold station here, but a lot of other guys that are in the similar position to him, though they're on the better side of that cut line, trying to hold on as much as possible to gain what little stage points they can to try to increase that buffer to the cutoff if at all possible. And everybody's single filed out now, just trying to feel out, you know, what they can do with the competition ahead of him.
Yeah, a lot of single filing out right here going on lap 12 as the tires definitely are starting to take wear. Drivers are going to start to separate a little bit more as you see the gaps are very close. And I mean, it's amazing to see how close the gaps are even on a short track when these, you know, for the first 15 laps, like just shows how competitive this league is.
Nathan Campbell got into Kevin Zabladil going into one there. Sorry to cut you off, Zach. Almost turned him around. Great save by Zabladil to lock it down and keep that car from looping. Ooh, boy, these guys are really close, and another very close incident there on the track. Just how hard these guys are racing in such close quarters.
Dude, playoff guys going for everything they can here early in the stage one. Remember, got to get to lap 40. Top 10 are rewarded points. It's from 10 points from the first position to all the way down to 1 for 10th. So get what you can, because points are very valuable here in these playoffs. Man, the balance continues. It looks like now Irizarry got by Catrone up front, and now James Catrone is trying to go back by Irizarry.
Yeah, kind of crossing each other over. It looked like Irizarry was going to have a run on Hunter Hayward. Looks like Hayward and Travis Everett seem to have fallen off just a little bit, allowed these guys to catch back up. But it looks like the inside lane right now is just not quite got it. The outside's where you're going to be to get the speed out of the car, and especially to defend your position. You see just ahead of GT, Hunter Hayward tried to run a little bit higher in 1 and 2 to generate a run, but all that did was allow GT to close right up to the back bumper. And again, another big difference, something we talk about all the time, how patient GT is, how calm and careful he is as he drives. It's why he has such great long run speed. He is backing up the corners a tremendous amount compared to his teammate behind him and Hunter Hayward ahead of him.
Yeah, and Hayward is taking that second group. You can see there, here comes Irizarry. Great run off the bottom, and that's where the 48 is going to lose out here. What he is doing right now is he's running. Oh, man, it might go 3 wide here off the exit. Preston, though, not going to be there. But he might have the run off. Looks like he had to lift a little bit, but man, what a pass there for Irizarry back up the second. But if Hayward can't run that bottom and figure that bottom out, he's going to struggle. That second line is almost the safe line, just to miss the bumps, but it's slower. If you can miss the bumps or get through the bumps the right way, you can make that bottom line very, very quick in 1 and 2, and that's what I'm seeing out of that 14. I think he might have a shot for this one.
Yeah, it seems like for single car speed, if you're running by yourself, oh no, it looks like Hunter Hayward got a little bit of a bump from Curtis Preston there. I have to go back and look and see exactly what happened.
Very light contact.
Yeah, it just seems like running the bottom on single car speed is the fastest way around here. If you're defending, if you can run on top of a guy, pinch him down just a little bit, keep him from really using up all the racetrack, that's how you can keep him from getting past. But it's definitely not quicker just on outright speed, and now GT looks to go for the lead around his teammate Travis Everett.
Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing out of that 14. He's commanding the bottom lane in 1 and 2, and that is personally the corner where you can make the most difference. 3 and 4 is, I don't want to call it an easier corner, but it's an easier corner. You have a lot more options. In 1 and 2, you don't have as much options. As GT made that pass, his teammate Everett crosses him back over, and we're looking at Trevor Massetti now battling with Hunter Hayward as he slipped back with that slide with the contact between him and Preston up front.
Yeah, Hunter Hayward, pretty good amount of damage to the left and the right side of that car. Definitely going to be getting that fixed under the stage, or a caution if it happens before the stage here. But some of these guys that were lurking around, you know, anywhere from 8th to 10th place, or even 6th place, 7th place, are taking advantage now. Bob Fitzpatrick on the move, and now Ryan Bean able to pass Hunter Hayward, getting himself in a position to gain even more stage points. Should he be able to hold station by the end of the stage here in just under 20 laps?
I gotta say, he's the driver that has the most momentum, I feel like, this season too, gaining on it. You know, that big win in Michigan for Fitzpatrick's really pushed him forward. As look at Schrittenthal, he's trying to get past the 11 of Matthew Rush, who's sliding back to 11th now. So Schrittenthal up to 10th. He's another driver, missed some races this season, wasn't able to make the playoffs, was a playoff contender last season. Let's see if he can get back into that same mode he was last year. He had some very good runs.
And Matthew Rush just behind him. Talked about the damage he suffered early on in this race to the rear. Not going to hurt him as much as some guys that have some nose damage, especially Craig Burns, who initiated that contact, has dropped drastically down the standings here. But Matthew Rush, we talked about it. He was one of our final 4 last season. Has been really hit or miss this season. Has shown a lot of speed, got some pole positions, but hasn't been really all that up front and contending each and every week. Sitting solid in the standings right now, 7th, but desperately needs a good run and continue to have decent runs to make it into that Final Four back-to-back seasons. Now sitting 1 spot outside the playoff picture. The good news is Hunter Hayward's right ahead of him, who's been dropping like a rock, so should be able to at least get in to get that 1 point that he's desperately going to need.
One driver moving forward pretty quickly. Dustin Stallings in at 93. He's moved from 21st all the way to the 14th position, about to take 3rd. As actually the 31 of Casey Coons, he's going to take it to the outside. He's looking to take a position with Stallings as they run side by side down the back straightaway for this 13th position.
Yeah, Casey Coons missing out on the playoffs just barely, but in that hunt for the highest points position outside of the playoff drivers there, chasing down Anthony Yunez for the points there, and doing really good just outside the top 10, but the top 10 not too far ahead of him here. Craig Burns is going to be the next car just ahead of him to take over that 12th position, and now starting to stretch his legs a little bit on Stallings, who he was just battling with.
Yeah, and the 31 looking very, very strong there, man, as he pulls away. Oh, almost into the wall as I jinx him. So let the 93 get somewhat of a run, but not going to be able to attack there. But looks like the next battle would be Bob Fitzpatrick and that 3 battling. Ryan Bean moving up pretty good too. He's up to 6 now as he passes Fitzpatrick, and he's got his sights on the 38 next. He gets loose. That lets that 3 get back to his outside, and the 88 Trevor Massetti. Ryan Bean needs maximum points here tonight. He needs to gain positions.
Well, I think while we were watching that battle with, oh no, Ryan Bean almost loses it coming out of turn 2. Great save. Only lost 1 position out of it. But while we were watching the battle with Casey Coons and Dustin Stallings, I believe there might have been some contact between Fitzpatrick and Catrone. Checking these guys up just a little bit as they've kind of fallen back from that lead group just ahead of them here, but still battling pretty hard. It looks like what I'm seeing from quite a few guys, Zach, is the tires, the guys that went out here on the initial start and really pushed the issue, they are suffering big time.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing some fall off, and look at this, the 88 is going to try to squeeze it in there, but the 38 is going to close the door. Ryan Bean has nowhere to go. Here comes Schrittenthal. Bean tries to close the door on him, but he cannot as the 2 comes into the picture. Now they have the lap car of, I believe that is Thibodeau. Yeah, Marc-Andre Thibodeau there on the inside as they pass him. Man, wild stuff here at lap 31.
Yeah, that was very sketchy with Thibodeau on the bottom lane right there. Oh, is he Matthew Rush not anticipating where Thibodeau was going to run, almost gets into the side of him. But
Ryan Bean.
He's got Ryan Bean. I think he might have just abused his tires too many times, or maybe he's just not allowing him to cool off after that big slide he had coming out of turn 2. It seems like trying to make those passes on the inside, get back to the throttle as hard as he is to get the run. The tire, the grip is just not there. It's too ballooned out, too overheated, and he's struggling big time. Looks like now, yeah, into the wall here. I think Ryan Bean just needs to settle down just a little bit. Realize he's in a pretty good position here.
Yeah, gain some points, at least bring home something to add to measure. He goes up in the bumps, so you can see that car just doesn't turn. Schrittenthal goes by, and he goes straight backwards. That's going to be the 9th position now for that number 25, and he is very loose on entry, very struggling right now. And the 38 also, Catrone dropped backwards as Massetti tries to get by him.
I think, Zach, looking at that, it tells me that he has got a lot of rear braking. He's relying on the trail brake to really help this car turn, and he's charging the corners because of it, and just not anticipating how early Schrittenthal was going to be checking up and backing up his corner. Really had to stamp on the brakes there. It's definitely not going to be helping the tires any already, considering how bad they seem to be on the 25 machine right now.
Yeah, and you can see a lot of guys struggling with rear grip here. I think, it's definitely probably a rear brake too. Them guys trying to dial some in there. But I just think a lot of guys are struggling for up off the exit rear grip. It just seems like a lot of guys spinning the tires up on that right rear exit in these corners, as we're already on lap 36. So we're nearing the end of the stage. Everett started to stretch the gap on his teammates as Preston has Pulled a little way from GT, but I tell you what, the driver who's impressed me the most, and actually the driver turned some of the fastest laps on the racetrack, is the 68 Andrew Little.
Sitting in that 4th position, may run out of time to be able to get past GT here, as GT still looking pretty strong. But Andrew Little right now running a 10th quicker than GT ahead of him. Travis Everett, our leader last time by, was the quickest car on the track with a 24.6. So still putting down pretty good pace, and I think it's just that clean air on the nose of the 59. We saw how much he pushed early on here, and a lot of the other guys that pushed right along with him fell back a good ways, but Travis Everett still holding strong in the lead.
Yeah, Travis has just been rock solid out front. Andrew Little, though, he's trying to do his best to separate this 1-2-3 of the slide job racing trio. Here's already loose. Little's going to have a run here with 2 to go in the stage.
This is going to be his best shot, but you don't want to get too ambitious here and potentially cause a problem for yourself or the guy you're trying to pass. It'd be nice to get those 3rd place stage points, but 4th is just as good.
Yeah, 4th place points are going to go very well for him in these playoffs, Brandon. I think you're exactly right about that. But at the same time, you know, he wants to get everything out of it. But here we are, final lap of stage number 1 here tonight in the RSR Cup Series. Everett's been perfect through stage 1, started on pole. He said he wanted to do this earlier, and he's doing it as he goes through 3 and 4. Everett's going to get those 10 bonus points and build that cushion for him to go to Daytona next week. Travis Everett, here's your stage 1 winner.
Well, coming out of turn 4, it looks like Dustin Stallings. Ooh, Matt's rushing the wall hard, and he's wrecking across the line as the caution for the stage comes out, but Dustin Stallings was just able to make that pass on him to get 10th place in the stage. That's 1 point as Dustin Stallings is on the cutoff.
Man, oh man. What a wild finish to that stage there. But it looks like Everett will bring it home. Curtis Preston 2nd, GT Ozari 3rd. Andrew Little in 4th, Bob Fitzpatrick 5th. Trevor Mercedes will bring home 6th. Ryan Dean 7th. 8th's going to go to James Catrone. 9th will be Zach Schrenthal, and rounding out your top 10, getting the last point, is Dustin Stallings, as you said, on that cut line.
Well, looking at it here, I got to see how far ahead Ryan Bean finished from Dustin Stallings for that stage, because he's only 8 points behind Dustin Stallings for that 12th position.
Very, very true. And I mean, he gained, 3 points on him there. So it's definitely somewhat of a gain for him as all the drivers hit pit road. I believe you're going to see all 4 tires change on these race cars. I think these guys are going for maximum stage points. No reason, in my opinion, not to change tires right here.
Absolutely. And, guys like Hunter Hayward and then just behind him, Craig Burns on pit road, they're going to be stopping and spending extra time in their box to get the damage fixed after the contact with Curtis Preston. That 48 definitely down on pace, the same as Craig Burns, with the contact of the 11 of Matthew Rush. Really dropped off on pace with the nose damage here, and you see him just sitting in the box making sure they get those things fixed up and ready to go.
There it is. Travis Everett wins the race off of pit road, as we'll bring him on up here and have a chat with the 59 for stage win number 1 here tonight. As I look for him, and there he is, Mr. Travis Everett. Go ahead and bring him down and get talking here with Brandon Collin.
Hey Travis, Brandon up in the booth again. You got me?
We got you, Brandon.
Well, man, great job in stage 1 to bring home the stage victory here. And it looked like that clean air has been very crucial. A lot of you guys took off pretty hard at the initial start of this race, but the guys that had the dirty air fell back pretty quickly. You were able to hold steady, hold station, and bring home the stage win, leading every lap. What's that transition feeling like as the run goes on for those tires? Talked about how loose it was at the start. What did it feel like at the end?
It tightens up a little bit middle of the run, and then you can feel it get a little bit looser later on as you burn the right rear off of it some. Not really sure which line's best here. I'm looking in my mirror and noticed 4 or 5 different lines behind me there, but what I'm running seems to be working for me, so we're gonna stick to that and see if we can keep it out front.
I was gonna say, if you're wondering about which line you're, was fastest, the one you're running seems to be pretty good as you led every lap so far, and it's been a blast up here, man. These guys battling pretty hard, but it's been sketchy in the back of the pack, but keeping it clean with that clean air, it's been working out pretty well for you. And we questioned the tire strategy if anybody was going to save any tires during this first stage. Looked like everybody decided to take a set here. Was that kind of in the back of your mind that, hey, maybe we should save a set, or do you feel like you got plenty in the pits?
I feel like we got plenty in the pits this week. It won't be a tire lottery game, so went ahead and took them. I think that was the right call.
All right, man. Let you get back down there. Get ready to start stage 2 here and see if you can keep that Hooters machine up front and get some more stage points.
All right, appreciate it. Hope we talk to you again.
All right, that was Travis Everett, your stage 1 winner here tonight. As we're under our first caution of the night, brought to you by Order Nissan Central, and that's a stage caution too. We went green all the way up to the stage, so congrats to them, the guys tonight here at Iowa. That's a fantastic accomplishment at a track like this. And man, I can't wait for it to get back going again. But I tell you what, Andrew Little, he really impressed me. Top 5 qualifying position, held on to what he had, and then there at the end of the run, man, I'm telling you, he was giving them guys up front a run for their money.
I think setting up a pretty good track position here, only up a position, I believe up 1 position from the start of his race. Slow gains, and with that late run pace, the very final stage of this race, that 70 laps, he's going to shine if he can keep the track position that he's got now. He very well could come away with a win tonight to lock himself in, but I've also got to point out, Zach, Travis Everett qualified on pole, won stage 1. We're halfway there.
Freaky fast grand slam. I can't do lead voices, man. Okay, my producer gave me the thumbs up. He said it was decent. I'm proud of myself now. So we'll go with it. Pace cars in there. We're back. Green flag racing. Everett softening away side by side for that next row back with Irizarry going to take that second position from teammate Curtis Preston as Little dives to the outside of Preston.
That outside lane on turn 1 and 2 for the initial start, it seems like you can almost keep it wide open as Andrew Little is just going, but he's all over the place right now, just leaning on those cold tires, getting every little bit he can out of it. Almost baits GT into the wall out of turn 4. From 4th place to 2nd in a lap, Andrew Little, these guys, they may need to be worried a lot earlier on than that 70 laps at the end of this race.
Well, I tell you what, man, looking very strong. Here goes Irizarry back inside the 14. But, he looks strong at the end of the run. Hopefully doesn't burn his stuff up here and sets himself up for some good stage points again, because he came in only 4, I believe. Actually, yeah, it was only 4 points to the good. So he needs everything possible, and, getting those stage points for that 4th place position going to be huge for him. Look who's up to 5th, too, Trevor Massetti in the 88.
And Trevor Massetti sitting 8th in points right now, not including the last stage we just had, not going to be factored in, but coming into this race 8th, and he was only about 13 points to the good over Ryan Bean for that final, that first guy on the outside looking in, and got a lot of good stage points, but so did Ryan Bean, so did Dustin Stallings. James Catrone, I don't remember where he finished for the stage, another one of those guys that was really needing those points. And oh no, Andrew Little getting loose, coming out of turn 4. Looked like Curtis was going to throw it 3 wide with his teammate, but electing not to do that. Great save there from Little. Looks like he's just going to be losing some positions now, getting stuck on the inside. I think if you're Little, back it down just a little bit, let the long run come to you. The short run, it was good for a couple laps, but it's getting a bit scary now.
Yeah, and you've seen that Little definitely really close to taking the lead. Lost the rear and slid back. Oh man, that was almost close to him in the 29 cutting down the racetrack. 68 was there, and that could have been contact. But look at this lead change. GT Irizarry takes the lead, first lead change of the night as the 14. He's made his presence known as he takes this lead. As here comes Curtis Preston to the inside of Travis Everett. So the teammates pushing back their teammate who won stage 1 here.
And again, look at Curtis Preston going to the inside of Travis Everett to take over second, or try to at least. I think out of anybody we've seen so far, Curtis Preston seems to be the most aggressive. He doesn't seem to be too willing to really give anybody any kind of room. Been very, very close with a number of drivers up to this point. Looking to fall back now in line behind his teammate in the third position. Trying to size him back up, see if he can make another charge at it.
This Iowa Speedway is putting on a fantastic show. Thank you everybody for tuning in as always. Make sure to hit that like, that subscribe button, as we love to see those numbers grow, as we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers this year. As we got a good group of fans out there. I see the David Edwards. Oh man, sorry David. I was pretty sure you won the regular season championship too, so I guess I mistake that too. So my bad, buddy, out there. But great win here tonight, and see if you can go home and get that playoff series champion, and we'll see how that plays out for you.
Well, seeing Kelly Hayward out there in Facebook chat saying, "Don't worry, the 48 will be back. Go Hunter." Quick update on Hunter Hayward. Restarted 19th. After getting that damage fixed, has made his way up to 14th position now. James Catrone just ahead of him, as well as I believe Brock Potter in the 4. So looking to crack back into the top 10 here, but still a little bit of some wrinkles on that car. Damage going to be hurting him slightly, but still a lot of pace. Slowly working his way forward.
Well, I tell you what, too, the 48. You know, the big thing for him is he won last week. It doesn't matter how bad a race it is. If he would have not won last week, though, got no stage points and came out here, got no stage points in that stage, man, the 48 of Hayward could have been in a very tough spot in this first round. He's going to take some of this in his back pocket for that next round.
Well, you know what they say, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. He very nearly found himself in a hole. Luckily, again, I mean, it's better be lucky than good, and a lot of luck played into the strategy, working out perfectly for the 48 to put himself in a position that he doesn't really need to worry about how tonight goes. He's just out here racing for fun, hoping to be the spoiler. And how Daytona goes, again, same situation there. If somebody's in a must-win scenario, he could go out there and steal the win and deny that.
Well, looks like we just had a change for the lead again. Travis Everett back up to the lead in the 59. Taking that from his teammate GT Irizarry is Massetti up now up to 4th, Fitzpatrick up to 5th, Little back to 6th. Here's Chad Biesinger in the 23. He's trying to go forward as he battles with Harold Watkins in the 22.
Chad Biesinger looking at the points. Not going to be in one of our playoff drivers. Battling with one of our playoff drivers of Harold Watkins, who Harold just outside of that cutoff in 11th position. Needing some points too. Definitely needs a lot more positions on the track than where he's running currently, trying to inch his way forward, but just a little bit off the pace so far up at this point in the race. We'll have to see where the 22, if he can figure it out and see where he ends up a little bit later on.
Yeah, it's going to have to definitely, figure something out there for the 22. He's got to gain some points. And right now at the moment, he came in tonight still somewhat good. He's above. It's just you would like to get some stage points for that 22 at some point here.
Yeah, you want to be above, but you never want to be just barely above. If I'm above, I want to be by a lot. Like, I want GT points. That's the type of points I want to be above by.
I think you're exactly right. Gives you that safe feeling. Being a couple points up, definitely not a safe feeling one bit at all. As we look at Marc-Andre Thibodeau, he right now is running in that 26th position. He did get his lap back, so back on the lead lap in that 27 machine.
I'll have to look at the standings here and see. We only have the one car that is a lap down up to this point after Marc-Andre got his lap back. It's going to be Mike Martino. Looks like not opting to start the race, I believe, or just started and decided to park it a little bit later on, but 40 laps down for the 75. Everybody else, though, all damage aside, still on the lead lap, still trucking away.
Well, coming by the complete lap 64 this time by. So that'll be 16 laps to go here in stage number 2. At the moment, still a 1-2-3 for Slide Job Racing as they look to dominate this race. But I tell you what, GT's definitely Everett got the lead back, but GT has been hounding him ever since then.
And I think GT, it might have, for as aggressive as he was to get the lead, I think he may have realized exactly how important that clean air was going to be, but I think in doing so, it kind of allowed Travis to lag back just a little bit and see if he could let the tires come to him and figure out where he's going to be stronger in the corners than GT, able to make that pass back for the lead. And other than that, I mean, our top 6, top 7, pretty much the same for quite a while now. Not much shaking up going around in those positions, except for that position in the lead.
Well, we're having Ryan Bean still running that 7th position there, Brandon. That's critical for him, that 25. He's coming up to Andrew Little now and Fitzpatrick. He needs to get as many points as possible. We talked about this earlier. He came in here 53 points back. But that's not to the cut line. That's to the leader. So the big thing for him there, man, it's just going to have to be 14 points he needs to make up to Dustin Stallings. And that's very doable, in my opinion. And then he's got a 3-point cap back to Patron, who's in 14th. He needs a great run, too. Nolan Potter, who I believe was not he did not have a great run last week. He's in 14th right now, started 20th, hadn't got stage points either, so he needs a big point tonight. Zabadil missed the race last week. He's been running right around the stage points, but man, right now in 27th position, 22 seconds back, and I believe he didn't take tires on that last stage caution.
Well, that is definitely a Kevin Zabadil move. It looks like he's gonna end up finding himself a lap down here before too long. Just too much time left in this second stage to hold off our leaders. But I've got a feel, especially with missing that race last week, Kevin Zabadil is not only this race, but next race at Daytona, he is in a must-win position. He's not going to be able to make his way in on points. He's going to have to win the race.
I think that's where his mind's at, too. I mean, with this strategy, for sure. So, I mean, he's going to go a lap down here, unfortunately, because the leaders are just catching him now, and this track's just not long enough to do the whole stay out on old tires strategy, because when you're running 24, 23-second laps consistently around here, you're going to get a lap pretty quickly when you're a second or 2 seconds off the pace.
And what they're running right now is just over a second off their best laps of the race. And so you figure a second a lap at 23 seconds a lap. A little over 20 laps, you're going to go a lap down. And stages that are at 40, you just can't afford to make that move. And I think, if a lot of the field elected not to take tires on this, it may have worked out for some of them. But when you're really the only person that has done it, it's not going to work out very well. And see him now going a lap down. Good news is, as long as nobody else goes a lap down, he's going to get the wave around. Kind of his only saving grace,
exactly
though.
Right. Yeah, it's his only saving grace, and I think Thibodeau is going to be able to hold him off. I mean, he's running about a second slower, but he is 16 seconds back, and with the amount of laps we got left, I think he'll be able to hold on to that lead lap. So that's Kevin Zabadil's last hope, because he's definitely going to need to win, if not here tonight or at Daytona next week.
Well, we have seen him pull off this tire strategy game and come out with a really good finish before. Maybe it'll happen again. I just question with the amount of tires you heard from Travis Everett, that there's a lot of tires in the pits. They're not really having to play that gamble and try to save a set. They feel pretty comfortable with how many they've got. It depends on how the cautions shake up, but it could play out in his favor. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Man, what a battle for 5th right here. Ryan Bean trying to get by Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick doing everything he can to hold him off. As here comes the 25 again. Remember, last run lost the rears as the run went on. This time seems to have him a little bit better underneath him as they'll be coming to 5 to go this time.
Just trying to figure out a good way to get a run on Bob Fitzpatrick. It looks like into 1, Fitzpatrick is a little bit more aggressive. Allows Bean to get the run out of turn 2. You see Fitzpatrick go in, really push the nose a little bit, wiggle the rear end, trying to get the car slowed down to the center. Allows Bean to close in, but 3 and 4, Fitzpatrick is just a little bit better or just on par. Ooh, almost gets into the back of Zabadil there. Lap car is playing a factor now. Oh, and he gets into Zabadil.
Oh, man. 3 wide now. Fitzpatrick in the middle. Zabadil slides all the way back, lets the by. Here goes the 25 of Ryan Bean. Does he make the pass? Yes, he does. He's up to 15.
And I can tell you, after being the victim of a lap car, That's not a popular move. As soon as I say that, Fitzpatrick comes over the radio and shows his disapproval of what happened there in the lap traffic as the leaders are racing. Yeah, a bit of discussion going on here, but didn't wreck anybody, but the damage definitely isn't going to help. More hurt feelings than anything.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see there is damage on your race car, and that's what Fitzpatrick has now in that 3, and definitely not one from a lap car. But as we continue here, 2 to go in the stage, Travis Everett has started to stretch that gap again. He's going for the Freaky Fast Grand Slam, man. This is one of the most dominant performances we've seen all year long. I mean, GT did take the lead from him there, but man, he took it right back after a few laps. White flag out here for stage 2.
Well, I'm wondering if I should mention it to him or just wait and see what happens at the end of the race. Producers asking who was the last one. I believe it was. I think it was Ryan Bean at Watkins Glen.
Was it?
I believe
oh
so.
No! Contact between Andrew Bruno and Dustin Stallings on the white flag lap here. Those two balance side by side as Travis Everett takes the checkered flag for the stage. Oh man, contact between those two. That's going to slide Andrew Little all the way back to 8th there to get him 2 stage points, but he holds on to that right there in front of Schrittenthal. Man, hard racing there for stage points between the playoff drivers.
Oh, Casey Coons able to take over the 10th position there to gain at least 1 stage point. Definitely going to be helping him in his battle with Anthony Yunez for that 17th position in the standings.
As man, Everett has just had a fantastic race. Stage win number 2 here for him tonight as he pulls it behind the pace car. Believe they'll all be coming down here getting some service done, Brandon. That'll set him up for a 1 stop to the end. And we'll have a chat with Everett after he hits pit road here, and we'll see how his pit stop goes.
A bit of discussions in the background as to who exactly was the last one to hit that grand slam. Robert saying, "Oh, I probably should have been writing this down. Just making notes of it. Probably should have." But I believe I want to say it was the first time with Ryan Bean, and then what was it? The very next week, somebody else did it, and it could have been Curtis Preston.
We're all
don't
confused.
Remember exactly.
Chat, do some research for us, please.
Yeah, who was the last person to qualify on pole, win both stages, then win the race? Let us know.
Or if you just know it, yeah.
Or if you just know it.
Or if a driver's out there listening, yeah. Come over to the driver chat. And we hear the pin clicking in the background. I think our producer says, we're writing it down.
Massetti coming out second under those pit stops. That was a great pit stop for the 88.
Really was. Jumped him up a few positions, but GT jumped back 2 spots, so unfortunate stop for him. Let's go ahead and bring up our, it seems like the only guy we've interviewed all night of Travis Everett here as he tries to pull out the Freaky Fast Grand Slam. Let's hear from your stage 2 winner here tonight from Iowa.
Hey, Travis, Brandon yet again. Got a copy?
Yes, sir, buddy. We got you.
Well, man, I'm running out of questions to ask you, Travis Everett. Man, it's been a great race for you so far. Gave up the lead just slightly there during this stage, but able to charge back, get around your teammate GT. You know, what did it seem like right when you gave up that lead? GT had just a little bit something extra. You think you figured out what that might have been?
We just had to fall in line behind him and watch him there for a little bit, see what he was doing different, and kind of picked up on a little something and put it to use there to get back around him.
Well, it clearly worked, man, and got back to the lead and just kind of walked away from everybody else. You definitely seemed like the most dominant car out here. Whatever you've got figured out at Iowa, it's definitely working for you. These guys got a lot to learn, apparently. How did the car feel? Once you got behind GT, did you notice how much that dirty air was really starting to affect the car? Was it plowing just a little bit more than you anticipated?
Yeah, definitely losing the front end on it some there, which we learned that in practice a little bit, messed around with it, and each one of us got in line behind the other. And kind of learned that effect.
Oh man, great information. Thanks for talking with us here, and don't want to jinx it, but you're on par here to pull off the Freaky Fast Grand Slam, winning all the stages after qualifying on the pole and then winning the race. So maybe go out and win this thing and be the next guy to do it for us.
We're gonna give it the best shot. A lot of racing here left. A lot of stuff can happen. We got a lot of faster guys behind us there also. So anything can happen.
All right, bud. Wish you the best of luck, and maybe get to talk to us up here in the booth for the 4th time tonight at the end of this thing. Be watching with great interest, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
I told you, man. I was running out of questions.
You jinxed them. You ran out of questions, so you said, you know what? I ran out of questions. I need words to fill this time slot, and he jinxed them. I'm blaming him, Travis. It's all Brandon's fault.
It's
all Brandon's fault.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
That's when you know it's not fine.
Somebody put up the meme of the dog surrounded by fire.
Oh man. As our face car lights are out, we're gonna go back. Green flag racing here is we got Travis and Trevor. Brandon up front here is I think he combined the names there last time. That was pretty interesting.
No, I combined Travis and Everett.
Yeah.
Trevor. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, what in the world did I just? What is that?
He made a new name.
Yeah,
name your babies that, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. He got your new name as the face car pulls in. We're looking for a green flag. There it is. Preston gets a pretty good start there from the 3rd spot, but Everett got an even better start as Massetti slides back to 3rd. He's been climbing each restart and now fights for that 2nd spot. Can Massetti get that win this season?
GT got into the wall just behind them. Bob Fitzpatrick trying to race them really hard. Fitzpatrick making some aggressive moves here. But Massetti turning on the burners here. We talked about it. Still has not gotten that win yet this season. Fitzpatrick gets it really hot. Oh, Schrittenthal as well turns GT.
Oh, no. And that is going to bring out our first or Nissan Central caution, 3rd of the night, technically caution, other than our stage breaks. And man, GT, one of our top contenders, our points leader, other than Hayward being locked in coming in tonight, and he gets taken out here early.
There was a lot of elements going into this wreck here, man. You got Schrittenthal going in too hot. Andrew Little washing up, getting into Catrone, putting Catrone in the wall. Fitzpatrick almost losing it. GT getting spun into the outside wall. Heavy damage on the 14 as well. Jeez.
Well, I think you see it was just a huge chain reaction there. You're going to see that the 29 there, Curtis Preston, he's running his line, just running a nice wide arcing line. Fitzpatrick's trying to make a late diving maneuver down there in the 14. He dives it way into the corner, and his line is going to approach onto that 29's line. There's going to be contact. So the 3 of Fitzpatrick has to slam on the brakes there, jacks that rear end up, getting it sideways. From there, GT's got to somewhat check up, and you already have Schrittenthal there, who's kind of somewhat similar doing what the 3 did, and he's just going in there too hot. And man, a chain reaction event that sends Irizarry into the wall and Catrone.
And I think, looking at Fitzpatrick, he did a great job making sure there wasn't going to be any contact, realizing pretty early, oh man, I'm in way too deep. But regardless of that happening at all, I think if he hadn't gone in that deep, he would have got collected as well as GT. Schrittenthal, I mean, there was no way he was going to miss any of these guys for as deep as he decided to drive it in there. That was way too far.
Yeah, you're actually exactly right. I mean, if the 3 didn't actually dive it in that deep, he probably would have got, in that incident too. So could have been a bigger multi-car accident, but man, Irizarry took it out there in that wreck. And the big thing for him, though, is no front end damage from what I'm seeing. It looks like most of that damage on the rear. I would not be surprised to see this 14 drive back up into the top 10 before the end of this race.
The best thing about all of this is this happened after all of his stage points for stage 1 and 2. He's got a lot in the bank that he can kind of rely on for this incident that's going to put him back in the field and kind of take away from the finishing that we thought he was going to have, the position we thought he was going to have. So he's still not in that bad of a shape. Obviously, it still sucks that he is in the position he's in now. But, I mean, grain of salt and a little bit on the sunny side, he's got the points that he can kind of sit on and be like, well, it could have been a whole lot worse if this happened lap 2.
Yeah, I mean, he got 17 points to sit on there, Brandon. So, I mean, that is a lot of points there for him. So, I mean, a second and a third place finish in stage 1 and 2. Cannot ask for much more for that 14. Like you said, luckily it comes after that incident, and not too bad of a car. I think he should still be able to drive up here, get some good stage points, unless, you know, but the only thing is it puts him in much more risk being put back in the pack now with less track position.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And he's gotten it fixed now coming out onto the track and got the rear bumper put back on it. Spoiler, really wonky here, looking like a crinkle cut fry, but still going to be somewhat functional. And definitely going to have pace, you know, even over some of the just slower guys that are on the track right now. Going to be able to gain a couple more positions, but I don't know if we're going to see him crack back into the top 10. He might need to have some type of help from some more issues and other guys getting damaged to make it back up to the top 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in as always here to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We'll see if this is the final restart of the night, or will we have to rack them back all up after some incident. We'll see. Pace car in. Ever off and away as the green flag's out. Great start for Preston in the inside lane. He's going to slap into the second position past Trevor Massetti.
Everett again with a great restart, but again, Massetti makes the outside lane work and 1 and 2 off to restart beautifully. Right on the back bumper of Travis Everett here, trying to stalk him, see if he can learn something like Everett did to teammate GT and figure out a way to get back by him here. And right before that incident, talking about Massetti, he hadn't won all season, got the dual win to start the season at Daytona, has been there, has been close, has not quite gotten it yet. This could be the night we finally see the 88 in and solidifying himself into the next round.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got some trouble right now, and that's the 29 Curtis Preston. Last year's series champion. He is looking to get his roll back going before the playoffs ensue. Or before the playoffs get to the end. But, man, I'll tell you what, he's definitely had a good run here tonight. And look at Fitzpatrick just almost involved in that incident. He's still riding the third with being up the fence. Man, right, Trevor Massetti just took words out of my mouth as he just dive into the inside of the leader.
Yeah, that's a lot of rear brake in the 88 there. He stood on him, really snapped that car out. Great save, and didn't even really lose any track position on top of that. Definitely not helping the tires any, but avoiding disaster by not getting into the 59, trying to make that move to the inside.
Yeah, and he's trying something interesting. He's going all the way to the wall in 3 and 4, getting the big run off the top. We'll see if he does it again here, as Everett has been pretty much committed to that bottom lane. Here goes through the middle lane. Let's see the run he gets here. Off the corner. Everett again. There's a good exit, but here comes the run from that middle groove. Not enough. Down into 1 and 2 in that middle groove. Trying to miss the bumps. A little bit of a later turn down. Here, this is good looking stuff from these top drivers as they navigate their way around the Iowa Speedway.
And Massetti, great job missing the bumps in turn 1. Everett not quite good enough. Now big run from Massetti, might make the move, decides not to. Had a good run, decided to back out of it here and size him up some more. I think he's just not risking having that dive in and the back end snapping out, trying to get the car woed up.
I'll tell you what, man, he had such a good run off the top. Let's see if he sets it up again. He ran right on the seam, right there again. This one doesn't look as close. I don't think that's going to work as well. He gets, the run, but just not close enough on the exit to get there.
Well, as this battling's going on, just behind them, Brian Bean moved up to 5th place now, challenging Bob Fitzpatrick. Got a decent run out of turn 2 here. Looks to the inside into turn 3. And then now ahead of them, Curtis Preston finding the inside of the 88 of Trevor Massetti. too many battles.
Too many battles to count. There's Nathan Campbell, another great run for him. Started 17th, had a quiet night so far in that 52. Unlike last week at Chicagoland, got great points there. Looking to get great points to end the race here as he is battling with Andrew Little for 6th. This 52 coming on strong late in the going for Stealth Motorsports.
Yeah, having a really good day. I believe he missed out on stage points for 1 and 2, so unfortunately not going to be any points in the bank for the 52. But 7th place right now, and looking a little bit faster than Andrew Little at this point. Nathan Campbell sitting 5th in the points coming into tonight's race, only 20 points back from GT at the top of the standings. So definitely a good solid points night for Nathan Campbell, minus those stage points. If he can pull out a good top 5 finish here, he's knocking right on the door of it.
Telling you what, a driver we're looking at right now battling with Craig Burns for that 10th spot, final spot of the top 10. Here comes the 48, diving to the inside of 12. Just hasn't had it tonight, Brandon. He's lucky. That, well, I can't say he's lucky. He won last week, so he definitely, you know, he earned his spot into the next round locked in. But, you know, he's definitely in a position where if he didn't win that race, he would have been, man, in a pretty interesting situation going into this week.
Yeah, not getting any stage points for either stage this race or last week. Really having to rely on that win, because had things played out differently and shaken up at the tail end of that race that would have taken that win away, I mean, he would have been struggling and almost, I would think, going into Daytona in a must-win situation, which is really the scenario everybody is trying to avoid have to happen because of just how hard it is to get a win at that track when really anybody that starts the race can win it.
Yeah, that's the wild card aspect of Daytona, so it's definitely something we'll have to pay attention to next week. But man, I think if you're a driver like Hayward, who's moved on to the next round, you've got to focus next, I think, round on getting stage points. That's where he's lacked, and if anything, he can go back and look at these races and really figure out what he needs to do, because he can look forward. He is into the next round. He has nothing to worry about this round, but definitely got to improve if you want to keep going on.
It's like those team meetings in football during the week. Go back and watch the tape, figure out what you guys can do better, what the team you're playing, what they're doing, try to figure out a game plan for it. He's got to go back and watch tape and figure out what he can do to gain some more stage points where everybody else is really been beating him pretty much the majority of the season, I would have to say. And I mean, you can't rely on the fact that you're going to win in each and every round and make it to the end. You're going to have to say, okay, more likely than not, I need to focus on points over wins, because you got to get the points to get to the Final Four, but you're more likely going to have to win the Final Four, or the race for the Final Four to win the championship. That's the one you need to focus on winning.
We're looking at Dustin Stallings, Anthony Yunez, and David Hall all battle for 12th on back to 14th. Because it looks like Yunez will get by up into 12th. That's going to take Stallings up to 13th. Man, Yunez, though, 17th in points, Brandon. He is the driver looking to possibly be that winner of that 17th position.
Well, he's gave up a little bit of points the 2 stages to Casey Kuntz, but running 12th right now. Casey's only in 8th place, not too far ahead of him, so definitely within range to track him back down and kind of see if he can mitigate that. Oh, as he makes contact with Stallings, though, looks like that was far worse for Stallings. Didn't even see a bobble out of the 54.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how the 54 didn't make no bobble there, but he kept it going. This action is wild. It's Stephen Baldwin in the 18. He's trying to go forward also.
GT now caught in the middle of all this, trying to gain as much track position back as he possibly can. I'm gonna have to look at GT's lap times and see where they kind of compare with our front runners at the moment. Last time by, Travis Everett with a 24.45, GT at 24.6, so not too far off, but definitely down on pace from what we were seeing out of the 14 early on with all that damage.
Yeah, he's definitely had a turn for the worse, you could say, for that 14. As you can see, they did fix the bumper up on that car, so that's good news for him. There is the 18. Oh, we do have a caution right here, 112. See what this Or Nissan Central caution is all about. Looks like Kevin Dow.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Marc-Andre
Looks like some
Thibodeau,
contact.
yeah, a little bit hot into the corner, just gets into the left rear of Kevin Dowd, and a little bit of overcorrection by the 98 puts himself into the outside wall. But
So here it is on the Freaky Fast replay. As Brandon said, there's Dowd on the outside. There's Thibodeau on the inside. Contact to the left rear of that 98 from the right front of that 27, and that's going to put Dowd head first in the wall, battling for that 24th position.
yeah, it's communication between the drivers, no harm, no foul. Understand that was just a racing incident at a short track, really. But you know, good news is, I mean, Kevin could have kept that pretty clean, but even considering how hard he went into the wall there, really not all that much damage on the 98. Going to be a lap down now as the pace car goes around him, so should be able to get that back with the wave here, and shouldn't be too bad of a position, really.
Yeah, as they all hit pit road, I think 4 tires here for the final time tonight is the call for a lot of drivers. As you can see, I mean, we're nearing 30 to go. I wouldn't pit again here in a short track like this.
Yeah, the tire difference, I mean, on really worn tires, it's a second a lap. But with only 30 laps to go, if you pit, say they go split it in half, 15 laps till the end of the race, the fall off's not going to be big enough, especially with the cooldown period under the caution, that you're going to be able to cut through the field. Especially now, I believe we've only got one car, which is Kevin Dowd, soon to get his lap back. Everybody else still on the lead lap throughout this race. So 27 cars you're going to have to make it through to get back to the front. It's just not enough time.
Not going to be enough, I think, for anybody pulling that type of strategy. So I think the call here was right for a lot of these drivers to hit pit road, get their tires and fuel. As Everett still holding on to that lead. This is definitely shooking things up a little bit for him as Ryan Bean now up to 30. He's been fantastic this race. Andrew Little in 5th. Trevor Massetti in 4th. Nathan Campbell up to 7th. Casey Kuntz up to 8th. I mean, there's a lot of great runs going on for guys tonight here at Iowa.
Well, I've got to look here, Zach, and figure out where it happened. Curtis Preston has some pretty substantial right rear damage. I'm not sure exactly where that happened.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, so unsure where that exactly came from for that 29.
It may be just a visual issue.
I see it.
Well, if you see it can't be visual, then I thought it might have just been a client thing, but yeah.
I believe it just maybe someone got into him there in that last run. Trying to look at any of these front noses of these cars to see. Don't see anybody with any damage other than Fitzpatrick, but I believe he got that from an earlier incident.
I mean, looking at it, Zach, he was running right above the top hash marks through 3 and 4, and suddenly the right rear just got punched in. He's just running by himself.
That's always good to get damaged when you're just running by yourself. I mean, Curtis Preston might have to talk to the team about that.
Yeah, I mean that. Man, I've never seen that. Yeah, I can't explain that.
Sometimes iRacing is the unexplainable, my friends. And our producer's trying to explain it with gibberish, and I'm confused even more.
If he got that damage because of M&M's, Robert, it's because somebody fired them out of a cannon.
Oh man, that would be scary.
Yeah, candy coated death, never a good time.
Definitely not. Well, I said the last time might be the last restart. Will this be the last restart? Because these guys used their last set of tires. Let's see how it plays out. This car is in. Green is out, and we're off and away as Everett on the gas. He gets a great start there. Here comes Ryan Bean in the 25 machine. He tries to slide up in that third spot. Cannot do it. Or slide in the second spot, but he can hold on the third there as they come off of 2. Massetti makes room on the outside.
Yeah, Ryan Bean being very aggressive there, and Trevor Massetti said, no, you are not shutting the door on me, and just barely had enough to get his nose in there and not hit the wall. That was an aggressive move by the 88.
Still working that outside groove. The 88, Trevor Massetti trying to pull up in the third. He clears Ryan Bean. 88 up the third. These very first few laps, man, I'd say that 88 is a huge threat. If he restarts in the second or third spot in the final, final quick restarts, we got a car going around. I think that's Andre Thibodeau.
And I think Curtis Preston may have snagged. Oh, GT goes around.
Man, oh man. Not good for the 14 as he goes around here on the brand new set of tires to bring out our 5th caution night, brought to you by Orr Nissan Central. Oh, I believe he got a little bit of help from a driver making a slight mistake here as we go back on the Freaky Fast replay. You're going to see down here in 3 and 4. GT with the run off the corner, but the 18 dead sideways loose, slaps the right side door of the 14, sending him around. And when it's not your night, it's not your night.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got a little bit of time left, but now with the wear on those tires from the slide and just that little extra bit of damage, he, I believe, was inside the top 15 at the time. But, I mean, wrong place, wrong time for GT, and just 2 separate occasions there. Like you said, it's not your night, it's not your night. Tonight's definitely not the 14's night.
Well, as Everett holds on to the lead, teammate Curtis Preston up to second. Massetti, though, up to third. Bean up to fourth. Andrew Little rounds out your top 5. And one driver making his way up. A couple drivers making their way back through is Hayward and Catrone. Those 2 drivers have made a few spots on the last few restarts. So they were one of the few guys battling up here for the lead early in the going. And right now they sit farther back. But, man, in this final portion of the race here, Brandon, what is going to be the thing that wins this race? I mean, we've seen Massetti press. I mean, the short run speed, everybody seems to have it. But when it comes down to that long run, if it stays green, I think Everett is just too tough to beat right now tonight from what we've seen. But if it comes down to a short run, it's any man's game up front because it's going to get wild once that final restart happens.
I think you've just got to put yourself in a position that when you get a run, you have to recognize when the moment is correct to pounce. And for Trevor Massetti, it is the restarts. If he can get in a position where he's able to get to the outside of Travis Everett on these restarts, I think he's going to be able to hold him off. But we've seen Everett get past before, able to sit back, size the guy up, figure out what adjustments he needs to make, and then immediately pass the guy back. I think the restarts are going to be crucial. We heard how bad the dirty air was. If you can get to the front, I think it gives you a much better shot than trying to ride behind the guy and, maybe see if the tires wear out just a little bit more. So I think aggression on the restarts is going to pay off pretty big. And I've got to also point out that right when that caution was coming out, Curtis Preston had a huge run to the inside of Travis Everett going across the line. He could not have missed getting the lead due to the timing of that caution by very much. He was definitely going to have him cleared through 1 and 2.
Well, that would be some type of story for Preston to come here and steal the win away from his teammate Travis Everett. After Everett winning the pole, stage 1 and stage 2 going for that Freaky Fast Grand Slam. And then your teammate Curtis Preston comes by and steals the win, locks himself into the next round. But Curtis Preston can do that, man. That is why he is the series champion last season. He's had those moments of what he had last year. It was almost undeniable last year when that 29 was out on the racetrack that was the guy to beat. But man, this week he's had a few of those flashes in the pan. But man, when it gets down to those final few rounds, I think he's going to turn it up a notch.
And it seems like the first half of the season, Curtis Preston was on fire, always up there contending and battling. And then toward the middle half of the season to the start of the playoffs, it's just missing a little something. is just not quite right for the 29, and he's kind of getting back to form now, showing that speed each and every week, and being right back up there in the picture, proving again, like you said, why he is last series champion. And I mean, there's not much better time to come alive than when the playoffs start.
No, there is not. No better time indeed. As the pace car lights go out, we'll get ready to bring them back. Green flag racing here. As when they cross the line, it'll be 25 to go. 25 laps here can happen in the blink of an eye. So grab your drinks, grab your popcorn, grab your snacks, anything you need for these next 25 laps, because it's about to get freaky fast here.
I see what you did there.
Oh man, sometimes I'm on top of it, but most of the time I'm behind. So sometimes we get ahead and do the right thing. Let's see if we can get ahead and win tonight to bring on that Sheffield Graphics race winning award. Pace car is in. And we're green flag racing, 25 to go here for the RSR Cup Series at the Iowa Speedway. Travis Everett leads us down to 1.
And pointing out that during that restart, 9 of the top 10 were playoff drivers, Casey Kuntz being the spoiler and all that, holding on, trying to have a solid top 10 day. And they're stacking up from about second place on back. Now Trevor Massetti trying to make the inside work here as he's been favoring the outside. Curtis Preston, though, going to get a huge run out of turn 4. Looks like Andrew Little, the inside of Brian Bean, could not make that pass. Now losing multiple positions as Bob Fitzpatrick goes around. Nathan Campbell goes around. Hunter Hayward behind them trying to follow suit as well.
Well, I tell you, that's great practice for Travis Everett. If he can do that on a late race restart, they will have no shot at him because he's able to gap them each time. But look at this. The battle back here from second on is raging on as the 25 Ryan Bean battling with Fitzpatrick. He's going to lose that spot, slide back to 5th. It's Campbell now trying to take that 5th position away from him.
And I think Campbell's going to have it here outside, especially off the starts. Ooh, a little bit of a slip up with Ryan Bean as well. It just seems to be too strong. It's not until the tires get up to temp that inside lane really seems to be all that good. And watching, again, the 88 trying to make that outside lane work, cannot get by Curtis Preston, but they've gotten pretty close now to the back bumper of Travis Everett.
Yeah, look at that. As we've seen that, Hunter Hayward was able to get by Ryan Bean to push himself back up into that 6th position. The 48 climbing back up to his starting position as 22 to go, coming to 21 this time by. Curtis Preston, big run out front. He's going to dive it to the inside out front. Let's see what Preston can do in the 29. Can he get by his teammate Travis Everett?
Caught those bumps on the inside of turn 1. Allowed Everett to really get back to the gas a lot sooner. Everett going to clear him here. And you see Curtis Preston back to the high side. Trevor Massetti directly behind him, trying to generate that run. It's worked twice now. Will it work a third time? Will he be able to make this pass?
This time, I think Everett has a big enough gap to hold on. He does. It's very interesting to see the 2 different lines, how they work. Everett has not given up that bottom lane all night, and I think that's paying off for him.
Making sure you get the car slowed down enough to really roll that bottom consistently. That's going to do a lot to make sure at the end of the run, your tires are going to be pretty well off. You're not going to be overheating that right front, especially making sure you've got that consistent turn in the car to hold off these charges from Curtis Preston here. And again, Preston really hard on the gas pretty early in the center, gets right to the back bumper of Travis.
Oh, and he takes his line away from him. This is maybe where Travis doesn't have the greatest grip on what to do, but he holds off here as they come off of 4. This is Massetti. Big run here between these guys and Fitzpatrick. Oh, and there is the caution.
No.
6th of the night, brought to you by Or Nissan Central. I believe Marc-Andre Thibodeau in the 27. Oh no, it happened up ahead of this. I believe Yunez and the 54 was involved in this. As try to go back and see exactly what happened. I believe there was contact between him and the 21 and David Hall to bring out this caution. Is the Freaky Fast replay there. You can see the cars parked in the grass here. We'll go backwards for you and show exactly what caused that to happen. As you'll see through the center of the corner, there it is. There's our culprit. Down into 3. The 21, David Hall. Just the lightest touches to the 54. But Yunez, that's going to send that car around after it's already on the edge and then into the driver door. Hard contact between those two. It slides him up the racetrack. He's going to almost get hit by Ludi. And then here's Craig Burns, a little bit of contact. And then from here, Marc-Andre Thibodeau, nowhere to go.
Oh, I think Everett may have wanted to see this. I definitely didn't. That fight for the lead was looking really spicy.
Well, it looks like people coming down to use their set of tires here that they have saved. This is a interesting call. I think if you're going to do it, you better do it now.
This is about the best opportunity you're going to have. Anything after this, you're just wasting time.
I'll tell you what, to a bunch of people staying out. Fitzpatrick. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 10. So producer is correct here. 10 drivers staying out. Oh, man.
10 race cars.
Count Collie up here.
Hey. Now, these guys on the fresher tires, I mean, there's a bit of a buffer for the guys that stayed out at the front. If you stayed out at the back, you are in trouble and just hoping you don't get run over. Biggest thing now is the guys on the fresh tires. You understand you've kind of got to be a little bit aggressive. Tires don't necessarily fall off all that much. You're going to have guys that you're going to be, side by side that you're going to have to try to get around as quickly as possible. But do not get yourself in a position where you get wrecked.
Man, a lot on the line here. Playoffs looming. Daytona looming. It's all on the line here. A grand slam possibly in the grasps of the 59 Everett. He's got the restart all the way back in the 12th position. Man, this is going to be a long way forward for that 59. And I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of hungry drivers behind him. If you pick the wrong lane, it can get clogged up real quick. In 15 laps, not a lot of time.
Absolutely not. You've got to, I think, stick to the outside where you're going to be fastest. But I've got to point out, the 68 Andrew Little, he took 2 tires.
Yeah, he definitely did. This is definitely an interesting strategy call for that 68. He got the track position here. Let's see if he can do anything with it. I just worry about cold tires here for him.
Yeah, it's definitely going to loosen the car up, and especially on fresh tires when we've seen how loose it is already. And he's starting on the inside where he's going to have the most wheel into it. This is going to be rough. Hopefully he can part the seas here like Moses, because I think Travis Everett being on the outside here, he's going to be able to be pretty aggressive taking the outside lane and carrying a lot of speed over a lot of these guys ahead of him on the older tires.
Old tires, new tires, playoffs. It's all going down here. Freaky Fast Broadcasting, RSR Cup Series, Evolution Racing Leagues. Do not miss these final 14. Pace car is in. Green flag. We're off and away as the 3 of Fitzpatrick gets a great jump. Bean able to clear for second as the battle from there on back ensues. What is the 59? Where's the 29? The new tires looking to surge forward.
Yeah, Travis Everett got checked up a little bit, went to the outside on the restart, allowed Curtis Preston to take the inside, get ahead of him here, but now Curtis Preston going a little bit wide. Hunter Hayward behind him. Oh, looks like Curtis Preston got a little bit loose on the outside, able to save it, but that's going to lose a lot of track position, a lot of momentum for the 29. Now the 59, first car on the fresh tires, surging around the outside. Hunter Hayward, though, directly in his tire tracks, trying to follow him around. Now got some cars ahead of him side by side, already up to the 10th position for the 59. These guys at the front may be in trouble. Oh, a little bit of contact with the 112 of Kevin Rupp.
Looks like Stallings got DQ'd. Everett going to the inside 3 wide here. Oh, I'm too old for this.
Oh, contact was, oh no.
Nathan Campbell.
Campbell got shoved into the corner, I think, by Zapladil, and then they'll contact, oh no.
Potter. Potter's
around
on the back stretch. Looks like he'll get it back straight though. We're going to stay green here with 11 to go. Fitzpatrick still hanging on out front. Looks like Travis Everett has built his way all the way up to the 6th position. Hunter Hayward, the next car on new tires, up to 7th.
there's stuff going on everywhere. I can't keep up.
Too much stuff to talk about. But here they come, the new tires traveling forward. Everett making the pass on Coots now as Irizarry and Catrone not too far ahead.
But he's only up to the 6th position. They're not far out of reach, but how much time is it going to take him to get there and around these guys? The farther he gets forward, the faster these guys are going to be.
I think the longer this stays green, the better for him too, though, because this right here, he's going to have a better tire advantage as the run goes on. Those tires start to heat up. The older tires do. Here comes Catrone with the block. Here comes Everett to the inside. Man, what a block. I don't know about that. The 58 smooths him up the racetrack. That is going to let him get by here down the back straightaway. Now Irizarry with Hayward directly behind the 48. Here comes the 48. This is all getting crazy here with coming to 7 to go. Everett up the 3rd. I think he's going to be able to get there in time.
We'll have to see if they block the way that Catrone did. He may be able to hold him off, but man, those tires. Oh, the Catrone gets loose and he gets through by Hunter Hayward. GT's involved.
Oh, and
Hayward little
wrecks.
Casey Kuntz, Trevor Massetti.
Major wreck on the back stretch.
And everybody just kind of arc braked into it after that.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, it started James Catrone just a little bit loose off the corner where Hunter Hayward with the fresh tires able to put the power down. A little bit of contact with the 48, sends the 38 around, but it checks up everybody else. And then everybody just starts pinballing, and then nobody stops going into turn 3.
Oh man, as we go back on the Freaky Fast replay. Yeah, Catrone a little bit loose. Hayward coming up the racetrack. And that is just going to be enough contact to already upset the 38, send him around. 14 Irizarry tries to check up on the exit, gets loose himself, gets in the back of the 48. That sends the 48 dead right. Casey Kuntz, Andrew Little. Oh, multiple drivers taken out in this. That needed good nights. Kevin Zabladil. Oh, man. Mayhem here in the final moments of Iowa.
Well, this has allowed Curtis Preston going to be looking like he's in the 5th position now. Nathan Campbell, 6th position. Brock Potter in the 4 up to the 7th position. A lot of cars destroyed in this one. A lot of guys able to take advantage that stayed kind of clean through it all and were able to somewhat slow down and miss the majority of what happened. That was a big one, and looks like Casey Kuntz has decided to pull it behind the wall here, take it to the garage, and has left the race this evening. That's a heartbreaker for the 31 with a solid top 10 speed all night long, getting taken out in that.
Oh man, it's heartbreaking stuff, Brandon. Here late in it going for a few drivers. As we look at Bob Fitzpatrick, winner from Michigan. He's going to have pretty much somewhat of a green-white checker to do this, Brandon. I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to do it, but he has a good shot at this thing. And if I'm him personally, I'm taking the outside lane.
I'm doing everything I can, running as far out of the groove as I can during these caution laps, making sure I've got these tires as cooled off as possible, and just hoping you get the best jump. And like you said, taking the outside lane, boxing Travis Everett in on the bottom to make him have to make the moves around the outside, hold him up for at least a set of corners, to give myself a little bit of extra time to gap him, and just hope that I can run hard enough. And maybe if it comes down to it, I've got enough time to see what the move he's gonna make, throw a bit of a block and protect to win this race. And he's taking the outside.
I think this is an excellent decision on his part. He puts Bean there on the inside lane with Everett there in that next lane. If he can get the restart he needs to on this outside lane here and clear Bean, and where Bean can hold back at least Everett for one corner, he has a shot.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There is a chance, my friend, and a big one. I mean, this cooldown period also helps him.
Yeah, this really makes the tires pretty even, especially when you've only got 2 laps that you have to run. this evens out the playing field a ton, as opposed to having to go 5 laps where the tires get back up to temp and your wear really starts to show compared to, you know, Travis Everett that's on the fresher tires. Man, this is his best opportunity right here. You know, you wanted it to go green if you're Travis Everett, but this is exactly what you wanted to have happen if you were Bob Fitzpatrick. Ryan Bean, if he'd have been in the lead, been feeling the exact same, but the restarts here, the leader's choice, just too much to overcome.
There it is, green flag. We're on board with Travis Everett. Look at him taking a 3 wide. Massetti up top of the 3 wide, Bean in the middle. Everett past him one corner. This is what I was worried about for Fitzpatrick. Now, what does he have here? Down in the 3 and 4. Fitzpatrick missed the groove, slid up the racetrack. He's going to have a huge run from the 59 behind. White flag one final time here. Brought to you by Sheffield Graphics.
Don't overdrive too much. I mean, decent run for Fitzpatrick, but the fresh tires here cover off his lane. Don't let him get it.
Down in the 3 and 4. Fitzpatrick has the outside lane. I think he has the momentum. Who has it? Down to the line. Fitzpatrick's the winner. And the wrecking behind that. What a finish. What a finish. Man, oh man, guys, we just seen some fantastic racing. Fitzpatrick, your race winner. Travis Everett, 2nd place. And Trevor Massetti bringing home 3rd. I'm going to tell you what. Everett is one of the cleanest, most respectable drivers out there, because a lot of other drivers would have took that away from Fitzpatrick with a door bang, but he did not.
Absolutely. Hats off to Everett, you know, being the fastest car really all race, and had the chance, the freshest tires, and had the opportunity to guarantee that he was going to win that race, elected not to do it and race the guy clean. You can't ask for more than that, especially if you are somebody like Bob Fitzpatrick, who made a gutsy call to stay out on the older tires and have it pay off like that. We talked about it. Fitzpatrick's a former winner, back to winning form.
And on to the next round. We must remember as he celebrates here on the front straightaway. We'll be back in a few moments, everybody. After this exciting ending to the Iowa Speedway, do not miss these post-race interviews. All right, we are back here, everyone, for your post-race interview segment portion of the race here for the RSR Cup Series. What a fantastic one we got to see. And there you're looking at your 3rd place man of the 88, Trevor Massetti. What a eventful night for this 88, but he's able to pull off this 3rd place finish. Let's hear from 88 and how it went for him tonight. Hey, Trevor, Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
I got you, Zach.
Hey, man, well, what a fantastic run for you tonight, man. Definitely back against the wall. 34 points back from GT Aaron tonight, and only 4 points up, or sorry, 5 points up from that cut line, man. I tell you what, great run. Definitely working your way up through a lot of traffic here tonight and battling through all the stages. Just take us through that grind of a race for you.
Honestly, I have no clue. Going into tonight, I felt horrible about it because I just didn't get enough practice in, and the car just would not turn. I usually like a loose car, and this fixed setup was the opposite of that. So I had my brake bias all the way down to 50%, which is as low as it can go. And then I took the in-car dial and moved it down a couple clicks and got it to like 49%, I think. And just finally got it feeling somewhat good in the first stage, and then just kind of got lucky with avoiding stuff until the end there, and just ended up being able to pull it off.
Yeah, definitely a good point situation for you tonight, getting stage points at each stage and then bringing home third. That's definitely going to be critical going into Daytona next week because, man, that's got to be the big wild card. We've been talking to every driver about it. Next week, what's your goal going into there? Is just going to be to survive?
Yeah, probably that, and not take out half the field like I did the first race with us. Because I'm pretty sure the first race I was a little antsy and took out a couple people, but hopefully I won't do that. And I usually can run okay at super speedways as long as I don't get mixed up in anything. So just praying to make it through it, not hoping for anything too big there.
Well, I tell you what, buddy, it's going to be fun to watch next week as you guys go into the nerve-wracking Daytona International Speedway. It's going to be fun for us up in the booth. I'm sure it's going to be stressful out in the car. But tonight, you definitely put some points in your back pocket for helping you next week, man. So congrats on that. But before we let you go, Trevor, anybody want to send a shout to, man?
I gotta say hi to Mom and Dad, Granby and Nono, Nana and Grandpa, Auntie Karen. I want to thank all the admins that make this league work. I know Ryan's on vacation right now. Hopefully we put on a good show for him. And all the other people that race in the league, and my teammates as well, because they're the people that make it fun. So thanks to everybody.
Well, buddy, congrats on third here tonight. We'll catch you at Daytona next week. Have a great night.
You too.
All right, that was Trevor Massetti, your third place finisher here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. Man, this next guy, second place man, Travis Everett, did pretty much everything but win tonight and comes up 4,600 short. Let's hear from the man in the 59. Hey, Travis, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, we got you, bud.
Hey, man, well, I tell you what, you did about everything except for get the victory tonight. Unfortunately, coming up that one spot short, 4,600 shorts to be exact, man. Man, it's got to definitely be one that stings for you, but at the end of the day, big picture-wise, a great race for you with the almost maximum points other than getting the victory here tonight. So, man, just kind of take us through your race and how you controlled it there, and then what the pit strategy was there coming down at the end, and how it kind of caught you probably off guard, how many people stayed out.
Yeah, I felt like we had the dominant car pretty much all night, but as you know, in racing, dominant car doesn't always win. We've seen that multiple times this year, and tonight was no different. Ran a great race up there until the last pit stop. Probably should have stayed out, but it is what it is, and looking forward to Daytona here. I don't think we got too much to worry about. We pretty much joked and broke there, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Next week, I think, is going to be a somewhat of a comfort week for you, for sure. With the points you built up here tonight, we'll have to see how that all shakes out, what the points get re-racked, man. But I tell you what, though, the run I would say you're having through the first two races is looking really good, and the dominant performance you had here tonight. Looking past Daytona to that next round possibly. Do you feel like running good in these early races is definitely important?
Oh yeah, definitely. At this point in the playoffs, I think you got to try and bank as many as you can. We've got a certain select group of guys you can pretty much count on being up there every week, and got a few wild cards you can throw in here and there. So definitely want to bank the points. Win would have been nice, but I think we're pushing it pretty good heading to the unknown next week.
Yeah, definitely heading into the unknown next week. You got a good cushion there, man. So hopefully that cushion is big enough for any issues you run into there, or maybe we'll run into victory lane for you, man. So hopefully that works out for you, because tonight that 59 was on rails, but the results might not show it, but that car was definitely dominant, man. So congrats on second and all the stage victories and points tonight. Before we let you go, Travis, though, anybody wants to shout to?
Yeah, just everybody over there at Evolution, Ryan, Sheffield Graphics, or Nissan Central, ButtKicker. everybody that helps this thing go around. They all do a great job. Teammates over at Slide Job Racing, we definitely put in some laps for this one this week, and I feel like it definitely paid off. GT ran into a little bit of bad luck there, but I think he's still pretty much salvaged a good finish there. And I don't think he'll have too much to worry about at Daytona either. So definitely comfort for the whole team there. And all y'all over at Freaky Fast, just appreciate what y'all do. And wife, son, for allowing me to do this.
Well, buddy, we appreciate you guys doing it for us out there on the track. It's definitely enjoyable. You give me and Brandon and Robert a good heart racing time with all the great action you guys put out here at the RSR Cup Series, man. So congrats on second here tonight. We'll catch you at Daytona next week, man. And you have a fantastic night.
Appreciate to see y'all next week. And I think I forgot to mention great win to Bob there. Great call for him to stay out. So congratulations to him also.
Awesome stuff, Travis, man. Well, congrats, and we'll catch you next week, buddy. All right, that was Travis Everett, your second place finisher here tonight. But the man who made the right call, the man who's locked himself in to the next round is Bob Fitzpatrick. After winning at Michigan, this is his second victory of the season. It's looking like a big turnaround in the second half of the season for this three. Let's hear from him. Hey, Bob, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a coffee, man?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, man, well, I tell you what, that is possibly the call of the season there to stay out. Man, we'll just hop right into that. You know, really, what made you confident there in staying out? And you definitely had a good bit of cars stay out with you.
Yeah, well, that was the prayer. I was with Trevor. I was talking to him, and I said, he's like, I'm doing what they do. And I was like, I said, let's fake them out. And then we went down, and I don't even know. I just ended up turning right and staying out. I really didn't know what my plan was, but then I seen there was like 12 laps, you know, there's gonna be like 12 laps probably when we went green. If I get enough cars to come with me, and you know, that's a good enough gap. But that late caution, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, man, well, you definitely had to hold him off there. You know, that late caution helped re-rack him right back up to you and start him right, you know, I think personally, in my opinion, the winning decision was starting on that outside lane. Even though he took it 3 wide there to get that spot in that corner, you know, what was, you know, how big a decision you felt like that was probably going down to the end there?
Well, I didn't even think about it. It was Trevor, and he's in fourth, you know, on the outside second lane. And he's like, you got to take the outside here, because I wanted Trevor to at least try to get in front of Travis. And I wanted Ryan Bean's old tires in front of them on the inside, him and Curtis. And then get my jump and then hold Trevor. Trevor was going to be able to get in there, but Travis still made it through. But I think that was probably the reason I got that win, was taking the outside there.
Well, man, I tell you what, it's great team calls like that help out, man. And you guys definitely hit the nail on the head there, man. I tell you what, you're locked into the next round, and I'm sure that's going to feel great, because entering tonight here, you know, came in here 6th in points. You know, had a little bit of points to that cut line, but, you know, not the biggest gap. But now you go into Daytona next week, and you can go out there and race and possibly get yourself another victory and build some bonus points going into that next round. Is that kind of your goal going into next week?
Yeah, Daytona, you know, anything can happen. So, I mean, you could finish dead last, so that's a good thing about getting this win right here today. You don't really have to worry about it. You go out there and try to win the thing, and if you don't, you know, big one happens and you're in it, you're still safe.
Well, I tell you what, man, you have turned the season around. May not have had a win up to the points of Michigan, but now you got 2, so it's definitely turned around for the 3's sake, man, and it's definitely good to see as you'll lock yourself into that. Yeah, exactly at the right time, my friend. So couldn't ask for a better time for sure for yourself. So congrats on that, man. Before we let you go, it's your floor to send out any shout outs you want for this victory.
Yeah, just a big thanks to the whole team here. You know, they're helped big time, because even like that last call at the end, Trevor told me to take the outside. I wasn't even thinking. My wife let me do this every Tuesday night. But yeah, other than that, just the team and the wife, you know, and you guys, because you guys put a good show on.
Well, buddy, we couldn't do it without you guys on the racetrack, so we appreciate all you drivers out there, man. So thank you very much, Bob. Congrats on the victory, buddy. Go celebrate this thing, and we'll catch you next week, possibly in Victory Lane again at Daytona.
hopefully.
Heck yeah, buddy. You have a great
Later.
night. All right, that was your Sheffield Graphics race winner here tonight at the Iowa Speedway, Bob Fitzpatrick. What a race for him. Second win of the season and on a fantastic pit call there from his team at Clutch Motorsports, getting the 1-3 call, 1-3 there for Clutch too. So great call for those guys as we pull up our race results here now. Bob Fitzpatrick there, as you see, burning it down. He is your race winner. Second's going to go to Travis Everett after winning this whole Stage 1 and Stage 2, just coming up short for that Freaky Fast Grand Slam by 46/100ths of a second. Third's going to go to Trevor Massetti. Fourth's going to be Ryan Bean. Fifth's going to be Nathan Campbell. Sixth, David Hall. Seventh's going to go to Chad Biesinger. Eighth, Curtis Preston. Ninth, GT Irizarry. 10th's going to go to Harold Watkins. 11th place is going to be Matthew Rush. 12th, Brock Potter. 13th, Anthony Yunez. 14th, Zach Schrittenfall. 15th, James Catrone. 16th, Marc-Andre Thibodeau. 17th is Nolan Potter. 18th, Kevin Dowd. 19th, Tony Ludi. 20th is going to be Craig A. Burns. 21st will be Hunter Hayward. 22nd, Andrew Little. 23rd is going to be Casey Kuntz. 24th, Kevin Zabaldil. 25th, Kevin Ruff. 26th, Dustin Stallings. 27th, Stephen Baldwin. And 28th tonight, rounding out your field, will be Michael Martino, as that is your field here tonight from the RSR Cup Series. As, man, they took on this wild racetrack here, Iowa Speedway. Brandon, we just had one for the books for sure, man, as Bob Fitzpatrick able to bring home that victory. I can't say more about how good a race that was and how excited I am to going into Daytona next week, because I think there's going to be a lot of storylines next week.
Yeah, gonna have to wait and see what the points shake up to be after this race here when we get that update. But it was an amazing race here at Iowa. I mean, do you think you know who's gonna win until the checkered flag comes out? And a great strategy call there. Old tires versus fresh tires, and a lot of drama and action, slicing and dicing right up there at the end to just kind of up the ante on all that, and really getting shaken up in the points because of that incident with a lot of playoff drivers being involved. Next week is going to be scary for quite a few guys. I think there's a few people that are going to have to win to get in at this point after having a bad result to tonight's race on top of Chicagoland. So I'm excited to get to Daytona. Always love plate racing, but plate racing in the playoffs is a whole other issue.
That it is, my friend. That it is. A lot of guys in the playoffs having some bad runs tonight too, so that's going to shake up our points for sure. So we'll see how that all is next week. Don't miss out every Tuesday here. Evolution Racing League. We have the ARCA Series at 7:20 Eastern and the RSR Cup Series at 9:20. So make sure you tune in there. Thank you all for tuning in as always. We appreciate everything you fans do out there, and the drivers and the league. It's it's really a big family here, and we shout out to them for providing that to us. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell. That helps out a lot. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. And it's been a fantastic night. Let's send it up to Robert Moore Jr., our producer, for tonight's closing of our broadcast.
All right, thank you guys. Great calling, man. I didn't realize Iowa can put on such action-packed racing here, man. It's fun to watch these Cup cars around here. A lot of battling back and forth and all over the place through the whole race. So, man, it was great. So if you enjoyed this content, like Zach said, don't forget to hit that like button there on this video here on YouTube. And if you're new here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. But like you guys said, we're down. Man, get ready, everybody, because storylines. Yeah, we're gonna have some storylines next week. It's gonna come down to checkers or wreckers next week. Basically, there's gonna be drivers that are just gonna have to send it. I mean, you have no choice. You're gonna have to race hard. And we all know how super speedway racing is, especially at Daytona. There's going to be tight pack racing. There's going to be team racing. There's going to be people doing a whole bunch of different pit strategies. I mean, there's just going to be so much going on next week here for the ARCA series and their Cup series. So make sure you don't miss any of that action next week. Tuesday night here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But our next broadcast will be tomorrow night with Underdog Racing League at Atlanta, as that's going to be their last race of their championship season. As they already crowned their champion of Jason last week. He wrapped that all up there at Underdog Racing League. So tomorrow night is going to be at Atlanta Motor Speedway with Sam and Zach calling all the action, and basically that's just bragging rights now for them guys over there. To finish off their season number 2 at Underdog Racing League. So hopefully we catch everybody tomorrow night. But until then, if not, have a great week. Be safe, and we'll catch you in the next broadcast. Until then, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.